Hello my lovely creatives. In today's video we're going to make a landscape with using only two colors. So I'm going to pick these two colors. This is Indian yellow and Prussian blue. They're from a brand called Schmincke. It's gouache, but I'm going to use it with quite a lot of water and see if I can create a slightly abstract, watery landscape painting. My name is Irene, and with making some musings I will teach lots of people how to paint and draw. On my channel you will find lots of art videos, and you can join some of my longer courses on my website as well. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and let's get back to our painting today. We are only using two colors today. And the reason I do this is just to challenge myself, to show that you don't need lots and lots of colors to make a landscape painting, and just to see what I can create by using just two colors. So we're going to make a watercolor landscape using only two colors. And I've already taped my paper to the table, and to make it even a little bit trickier for myself I'm going to use this, well, it's not a credit card, but this loyalty card. You can see I've already cut it in pieces a bit. It's an old card from a place where I don't live anymore, so I don't need it anymore, and I'm going to use that to create some interesting marks and textures on the paper. I've seen other people do it before, I've never tried it myself, so I'm going to give it a try. I have a brush at hand in case I need it, but yeah, let's see what interesting shapes I can create with these materials. So very simple: paper, a palette, I have a cup for water here as well. Ooh, dangerously close to my coffee. And these two colors of paint. So let's get started. First I need to put some of the paint on my palette, of course. So, really lovely bright yellow, and this is the blue, there we go. And I'm going to use quite a lot of water for this little painting, and I have a little bit of an idea of where I want to go, but nothing too precise. So I want to create some clouds here. There's going to be a little bit of a hill. I want to make sure I make some of my paper really wet to give some interesting textures. So what I'm doing today is only make parts of the paper wet. I'm not going to use this wet and wet technique in a way where the entire paper is sort of glazed with water. So let's see what color we create if we mix these up. So we instantly get a green. Oh, see, I'm being a little bit messy here, but that's okay. So let's see what happens if I create some marks with this card. It feels a bit odd, it feels a bit harsh to draw with this, I think, in comparison to using a brush which has this really soft texture. Perhaps I need to cut this a little bit smaller. So I like these sort of scratchy textures, and this really looks quite nice for the sunset mountainous shapes that I'm creating. Let me cut this a little bit smaller. So here we go. I've made it a little bit smaller, some harsh edges. Let's see. What sort of marks can I create with that? I'm enjoying this. It feels quite freeing to paint this way. Not sure if this is really the type of watercolor painting that I usually do. This is definitely fun and interesting. I love challenging myself to create new types of paintings, try new techniques. I like these harsher lines that can create maybe a little bit more water here and there. So I want to create some trees. So you've just adding in a bit of a tree shape. Is enough to give that illusion, that impression. See, my paper is not taped to the table very well. This tape is a little bit small for what I'm trying to achieve, but that's okay. So I want this to sort of drag forward a little bit, give a bit of a hill that's coming towards us. So even though I'm keeping my picture fairly abstract, I can still manipulate the paint to go into certain directions. What I love about watercolors is just how it moves onto the paper with water. There's so many different shapes that it can create. You cannot always control what happens, and I think that is something that I find really fun personally, and that I think it's okay to embrace that a little bit in your paintings. You cannot always control everything, right? So as you can see, I'm trying to make this a little bit more wet. I am only working on a small piece of paper today, but I definitely think I'll try this a bit bigger at some point. And I'm glad I only went for 2 colors. I feel if I had picked all the different colors of the rainbow, perhaps this would have been a little bit overwhelming. Sometimes by simplifying one thing, you give yourself more freedom to be creative in other areas, and I think limiting your color palette is a really good example of that. It has been a really long time since I made an abstract painting, and I'm loving this process so much.
I feel that it doesn't really matter what I do. I can just do what my instinct tells me, and yeah, just really, follow my own creative voice, and I absolutely love it. I'm slowly getting to know this card tool as well, and the type of strokes and textures that it creates, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm going to definitely use it more often in the future. I love using a brush, but it's great to try something new as well.
So there we go. A little bit of salt on the paper. Just here in the foreground, see if I give a little bit more texture to it. Let it dry and see what happens.
My painting today is all about creating different textures, and I'm using my brush to flick a little bit of blue paint onto the paper. And because the background is still a bit wet, each of these splashes will blur out a little bit and sort of become part of the picture underneath. As you can see, I'm going a little bit darker, a little bit more bold, and try not to splash it everywhere else, but I just love splashing paint. It's so much fun. If you've never done it before, I would highly recommend giving it a try.
So there we go. I have some splashes on my table, but that's okay. I'm going to let this dry and then have a slightly closer look and see what we think of it. I really enjoyed this. This was so much fun. Like, I literally want to make another one immediately, which I might do. So let this dry and then see
if it is finished and what happened with the salt. Thank you so much for being with me here today. I really loved having you here, and I hope that you get creative and make some paintings as well. If you do, make sure you share with me what you've made, either on social media. Make sure you tag me in your creations. And I share weekly art, drawing and painting videos here on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe. And I'll see you around soon. Thank you so much.